Hey everybody, Scout Character here again. I got a steam engine show to go to tomorrow, and I want to clear up my memory on the camera. I have some of the clips that I'm putting together, and it's just something to watch, and I hope maybe you get something out of it. Thanks very much. Last time I came back, I bought a bunch of these, like, rusted up tools. You get these for $1, and then I come back and I throw them, toss them into, I got a 5-gallon bucket of vinegar. That's been around for a while. So I threw these about 4 days ago in a bucket of vinegar. These were really rusty. I mean, worse than that other wrench I just showed you. So I just took them out of the vinegar, and then I put them into a bath of baking soda to neutralize the acid. But you see, they come out like a kind of a grayish and whatever. And then you're going to start getting some flash rusting. That's what that is. You see it on the clamp. So you can't leave these too long. Once you take them out of the vinegar bath, the acid's all neutralized, but you got to work on them. So I'm taking this lot of tools here that you see, and I think I paid $5. I think they were $1. This one might have been more. This is an Armstrong. Might have paid $5 for that. So maybe $9 for everything or whatever. And let me show you what we can do with this. Now you guys remember what they looked like before we started. Voila! Here we are, about a half an hour later. And you could see we got these, all the rust is off. This is more or less what they would look like when they come out of the factory, out of the casting. They're nice and shiny, but they're unprotected, so now we got to figure out a way to protect them now. For some of these, especially for like this Armstrong or something, you can see Armstrong. What we're going to do is, I have a bunch of clamps waiting to be painted that are already done. But for these, I just want to show you could do. This is one we didn't do in the vinegar because it did have a finish on there, so I didn't put it in the vinegar. And this one here, it says Forged Steel USA, came out real nice. And this is an interesting wrench because this one here, which I didn't notice, this was real bad, rusty and everything, but came out nice, alloy steel. But look at this, here you could see the inside of this. It looks like normal, but they left a little forging mark down there, a little seam. But look at this side now here, 15/16. Look at that. They left the seam mark all the way around. That's not right. Now it says, the funny thing is it says Ward's Master Quality, but unless this was a second, or maybe came out of, maybe this was a defect, but they would never let something like that get out because I would have to measure that to even see what it is before you ground it down. Anyway, so we're going to see what we're going to do with these wrenches now as far as whether or not we're going to put a coat of shellac on them. We got to do something to protect them, paint them. We'll see what we can do. Here we are wiping them down with some alcohol, just cleaning them up before we put the shellac on them. Yeah, I decided to put a coat of shellac. I can always come back and do whatever I have to. Those are the clamps we just did. The other tools. Here's some clamps from months ago. Here's some nice pony clamps. Those are all shellacked months ago and just waiting to be painted. I do all my painting usually in one. Here's that wrench for later on tomorrow. So we'll see what we're going to do. Okay, we're pretty much basically done with what we're going to do with these. Cleaned up the jaws. Got the jaws nice on this one. Works really nice. I don't know who makes this other than Forged Steel USA. I'll put this in with my collection of monkey wrenches. This one over here, what's interesting about this, I could show you. Remember I always said this pin is captive? Well, how that works, and I could show you here because, again, pardon the gloves, I got the poison ivy. But see this pin? Well, that pin holds in the thumb wheel, and what happens is that pin goes in here. And when it does, you see there's two little marks there. Well, those marks, what they did was they took a pin punch or something and punched it in and swaged the metal so that this pin is free, rotates and everything, but doesn't come out. So when I think about what I'm going to do with this wrench, I'll put this back together and lube it up, and I'll swage that pin back in there. As for this one here, this was very interesting because I measured it. That's why I have the measuring devices out. I was measuring this, and again, this 15/16, you could see the seam, the forging seam. This is way short. This is more like a 13/16. So can you imagine using, grabbing this wrench, thinking and it's not even going to fit on the nut. So this, I think this might have been like a kind of a second or off the production run or something. This is definitely one that wasn't used. And then that leads me to the C-clamps. The one since I was spraying the rigid wrench, I just gave this a quick coat of Chevy orange, and this will be going upstate because, again, high visibility. And it's all shellacked except for the threads. We don't shellac the threads. The threads get a coating of oil rubbed in there real good, oil grease coating. This little base plate down here is shellacked, but inside and everything is oiled, so it's nice and smooth. Now, this is the last one we have to do, and let me show you. I have a bunch of clamps. Now, when I tell you I have a bunch of clamps waiting to be painted, I'm not kidding. These clamps have all been cleaned up. They were all rust buckets, cleaned up, shellacked, and a few months ago. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my paint system. I have a paint system with a blower. Takes all the fumes out, and I'm going to paint all those different colors, matching sets. I got some nice ones now. I'll do a video. So this Armstrong is a, you can see Drop Forge Chicago, USA. And on the other side, you can see Armstrong. And this is a number 404, which meant 4 inches. And again, we didn't put any oil or anything on the threads yet, because what we're going to do is tape it up, spray it. Right now it's got a coat of shellac on there, and we'll match it. If I have another one, we'll match up the colors. If not, I'll make this a loner. One of my viewers said he would like to see this just left the way it is in kind of a steel look. But okay, I appreciate you guys tuning in. This was just a quick one to get rid of some footage on the camera until we go to a show this weekend. I want to film a nice show special for you guys. Okay, I hope you guys have a good weekend. Take care. Thanks very much.